All right, Cousin Tone. It's that time of the week again. A little Monday hobby mojo boost for all the collectors out there. The cousins are here to get your week started off right. So let's get it cracking, ladies and gentlemen. What's good, Tone? Did you survive that Sixers Celtics roller coaster that we just witnessed?
Yeah, man. I'm not a smoker, and I think I put down 5 cartons of Newports. So, I did survive that, but I don't wanna waste too much time on that
No,
'cause,
no, no, no.
we're gonna.
All I gotta say is 2-2. It's a 3-game series now, and the Sixers are still alive, barely.
Yes, 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 sir.
That's
My
all we can
god,
ask
what a
for.
roller coaster.
No, but it's been an interesting playoff so far, man. How about them Lakers, man? Lakers are giving it to the Warriors over there in the West.
Mhm.
Um, Denver and Phoenix looks like a series, maybe. So it's been interesting. Obviously, you got Miami Heat giving it to the Knicks. So it's going to be interesting end of the season when it comes to the NBA playoffs. So looking forward to that, and I'm just hoping that the Sixers have enough of that, gusto just to get by the Celtics. The Celtics are, whew, they're a beast, bro.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But let's just hope we get
So
through it, and but a big tip of the hat to cousin Shane out there with the Lakers, so
yeah,
making it happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true. That's the only reason I don't want them to win. I mean, I
Yeah.
did want them to win, but now it's like because he just happens to be the fan of a lot of teams that I'm not down with. But we'll leave it at that. I'm not even. I love you, Shane, no matter what. So, Tone, man, let's talk some hobby, bro. Another solo cousins episode. So I wanted to start off with, man, we got the national coming up. You, sir, have gone a little crazy on your pickups lately. Getting some grails, putting a lot of money out there. I also know you got some home projects where money's getting a little tight in that situation that you had to put towards that. So we're kind of both in that what we call a hobby holding pattern. So how are you passing the time in the hobby when either you have no money or, like I said, you're saving money for a big card show or even a big card, like the Nationals coming up. So what are you doing not to succumb to that hobby FOMO?
Yeah, good question. Because the past couple weeks have been a little expensive, and so last night, and we'll get into this a little later. I finished putting in what cards I do have of my 56 top set in my binder, but I have about a stack of about 50 that are either duplicates or a little too beat up to meet the requirements that I want to have in said binder. So I talked to a good friend of the show, aka Mr. Corky the mailman.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, about the stack of cards that I have. He's like, "Hey, buddy, no problem." He goes, "Get them to me. I'll put them up on Facebook. We'll sell them one by one. You'll be able to recoup some money and then buy whatever you have missing." And I'm like, my exact words to him, I said, "That's perfect," because I said, right now, I'm really trying to like chill right now because we are now we're in May, so we got
Hmm.
about 2 full months or so till the national. And although I don't have a particular card that I'm gunning after, I know I'm gonna see something there that I want. Like that's
Yeah.
without a doubt. So I told him, I said, "Yeah, man, I would like to fill some of these holes, but without reaching into my pocket." I was like, again, because I was like, dude, I'm really trying to chill. So that's the first thing is trying to move those duplicates, which, by the way, I mean, it's crazy because I was talking to him last night. He's like, "Dude, now you're doing it the right way. You're buying in lots, and you're getting what you need, and then you sell off the other one so you can, fund the." I said, "Yeah, Cork, that's cool." I said, "But I'm only building this. Like, I'm not building 38 sets at one time. So it's very,
It
you know,
works
ne-
great when you're set building, yeah. But if you're
yeah,
just buying singles, you're not gonna buy a lot of singles and then
exactly, yeah, yeah." So I was like, "Yeah," I said, "It's cool because I'm building this set, but otherwise, I wouldn't be buying in lots because I don't set up. Well, otherwise, yeah, I would."
Mhm.
But yeah, so first of all, the first thing I said is trying to move those, as I said, trying to stay out of the dipping into the funds because like I said I got a lot of stuff going on here, but also and then just living vicariously through Instagram. That's you want your card fix, you can get it online. Whether it's watching a break or flipping through social media and seeing other people's pickups. So as of right now, knock on wood, I don't expect anything crazy big to come up because I don't have anything crazy big in my mind or on my
Mhm.
radar. to buy, but that could change tomorrow.
Yeah.
But like I said, long story short, it's a little bit of just trying to move what I have, the extras that I have, and just living vicariously through social
Mhm.
media.
Yeah, yeah. Just keeping your mind occupied. There's plenty of ways to do it. There's listening to content, creating content. You could do social media. You could do posts. Like for me, I'm anxious to get that submission that we have to
Mhm.
PSA back, just as because to me those are like new cars. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
you know we're paying for the grading fee, but getting those back slabbed up just to see what the grade is, the reveal. I did a couple crossovers, and I'm waiting for some of the autos to show back up. So I'm dying to see that, get those in hand. So that'd be one way to pass the time. But yeah, man, it's like you could easily with eBay, you're like, oh, let me just check out what's going on. Maybe I can get a couple steals here and there, and
mhm,
before you know it, you see something, you're like, oh man, that would be great to the collection. I don't know when
yes,
I'll see this again, and you're spending an arm and a leg for something that you really shouldn't. But so it's all about being just having that patience and just trying to not get crazy, knowing that you have things down the road that you want to get to.
yeah,
So, like you said, 2 months, just chill, man. No
yeah.
need
You
to
know
get
what
out
else
of
too?
it. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you know what else too is the other day I went through my case and just started reorganizing again.
there you go.
Just going through them. Like, I mean, you said it before, like, damn, I haven't looked at this card in a while or whatever. And so I did that, and it was like, I don't know, I passed about an hour or two just flipping through them, reorganizing, looking at, like,
Yeah,
oh damn, I forgot I had this one. And reappreciating what I do have currently as opposed to always trying to chase some new flavor of the week.
level up,
'Cause,
level up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I've done that, and so yeah, I mean, hell, you can probably spend a lot of time appreciating what we talked about it. You can spend a lot of time appreciating what you have as
Hmm.
opposed to spending energy and money
Yeah.
chasing something else.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And that's the cool part, like I've taken pictures of most of my collection before.
mhm,
So now it's like, okay, there's nothing wrong with taking another picture and doing another, because before maybe that picture wasn't so good. So now I get to reinvent the way I had, I showed the card on social media before. So, and again, that's just showing appreciation. And, when you have somebody that's done over 300, 400 posts, most people don't go all the way back to the
nope,
beginning and see what they had. So, like a lot of people don't know what you have. So,
mhm,
there's nothing wrong with a good card that you like and people appreciate to just post it again and just like you said, enjoy it once more. Definitely
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
No, for sure. I remember, I think it was Rob and Drake's PC, I believe, talked about that, about reposting a card or something like that that you find either that you haven't posted in a while or just forgot about or stuff like that. So no, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. I mean, shit, what there's people that probably want to see it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, especially what the way you do it, you put that little extra pizzazz. I don't know what the heck you do with those custom backgrounds or whatever, but well, I'm struggling out here to get the sunlight in the right
You got the
thing.
classic rock, you got the grass behind, you got the wooded area, and the sun hitting just right.
Yeah.
Either that or you're doing your hand model thing, so
Yeah, I've patented that hand model, and the grass is green. You know what? So I posted today, well, it would have been yesterday. I posted the McNabb and Owens green refractor,
mhm.
and it was funny. I believe it's Doc collects cars. I make sure I get that right. He made mention of the grass, and I said, "Yeah, real dads know. I mean, the struggle to have a nice lawn
Yeah.
is a whole nother thing, dude. I spend like, I have a pretty big backyard, not crazy, crazy, but and when I'm by myself, I mean, it takes me about a good 2 hours to get it all done, and it's like by the time I'm done, I'm just spent. I'm like, man, that was something else. But I'm glad that the doc was appreciative of the.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I'm freaking struggling now since I got back off of vacation, so the grass had grown since I cut it right before I left. But
Mhm,
now this week they had me working all week. Didn't have off today. I was gonna do it today. They had me
mhm,
working today, and then when I get home, the Sixers game is in full throat, and I'm like,
yeah,
I can't not watch it. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, maybe I'll be able to get it done. And by the time I look, it's like, oh man, we got to record. So I
yeah,
keep making excuses, and that grass keeps growing and growing. So somehow, some way, I'm gonna have to figure out in
yeah.
the next couple days, get home early or something, or maybe I just have to go ahead. Those tractors, they have the lights on them, right?
Yep.
So I'm gonna have to do a night cut.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, with the weather we've been having here, it's like cool for the most part. So that's perfect. Like that grass just shoots up, man. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, oh. Just
Oh,
get it done, man, because you got don't be leaving to Florida with the grass
no,
4
no,
feet,
no.
you know? Which, by the way, how far away are we from that?
May 20th. So
Okay, okay. So right
almost
around the
there.
corner.
Almost there. My daughter
Ooh,
got all
boy.
her stuff ready to go. She bought a new Stranger Things shirt. She ordered it online, special for Millie Bobby Brown.
Okay.
I bought her these Valentine's Day gift cards. I don't know if I remember I showed you those. They were
Yes.
like I got them on the Netflix shop. So I had them. I told her keep them in the box. That happened about, that lasted about 2 days before she opened them and went through all of them and tried to put them back strategically, and when I went up to check her thing, they were all falling out. I was like, "Did you open it?" She's like, "No, no." I was like, "Yeah, you did." She's like, "Well, I had to look at them." I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, just leave them there." And then, of course, she's like, "Hey, can I use one of those cards to give to Millie?" And I was like, "Fine, just whatever." And
Yeah.
then so she went and she wrote out this whole nice little thing for Millie
Oh,
Bobby Brown, and she's like, "Can you look at this and make sure this is grammatically correct?" And
yeah,
so I had to fact check her thing for Millie. So
yeah.
it's cool though. She's super, super excited, man. So that's gonna be a good time. That's gonna be fun, man.
That's dope. Have you ever checked to see if I know you're not a big into breaks, but like Stranger Things breaks? Anybody break that stuff at all?
I don't think so, man. Because you have the older stuff, like the older boxes are expensive from
Yeah.
season one, and season two not as much, but so really anybody that has those boxes, they're keeping them and trying to get those hits. I know Sports Card Dad is just freaking going
Oh,
nuts with
he's
the
been on
autos.
fire.
Yeah, his collection is super sick. I look at him, I was just like, oh my god, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I've seen him posting some stuff. I'm like, man. But
Yeah,
I was just wondering. I was like, damn, that might be like, I guess, like I said, I know you're not into breaking as much, but since you like all the cards, it
yeah,
wouldn't be like you get skunked. Like, oh, I just want Millie Bobby Brown. Like, if you
yeah.
get somebody else, it's not
I wonder
that
how that
bad.
would work, but I'm just thinking maybe when Zero Cool comes out with that latest set, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure people will be breaking it. I would think.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
if not, it'd be similar to what just occurred where we could buy the boxes, that from
Oh,
the Butcher
yeah,
Billy set.
yeah. Hmm.
Have to go all out
Oh
on
well.
that.
Yeah. So, anywho, well,
Anywho, so let's get to the next topic, sir. So by now, obviously, everybody knows and they're aware of the Evan Mathis trimming scandal. The ex NFL player doing his little tutorials out there, and some people obviously were appalled, and others were like, looks pretty cool to me. I see nothing wrong here.
you're
But
raising the roof, bruh.
yeah, yeah. So trimming, but the fact trimming's always been around. We know that,
Yeah.
but the way that Evan puts it is like you should assume that most of these high-end cards and highly, graded slabs, you got to assume that they've been trimmed. So with when he kind of said that, it got me thinking, bro. I was like, damn, like, has it changed your opinion in any way in regards to grading or collecting in general? Because sometimes, we as hobbyists, we're so consumed with leveling up by purchasing or trading for the highest graded versions of these cards, and it's like, are we pretty much naive to believe that these cards were pristine out of the pack, or at some point did an individual just like come and alter it without anyone knowing and was able to slip it by PSA or SGC at the time or Beckett, and we're going ahead with our hard-earned dollars, trying to level up, and here we are buying stuff that may not be on the up and up. You know what I mean? So since that time, has it changed your focus at all, or you just like put my head in the sand and it is what it is?
It hasn't changed my focus, but it has made me a little leery.
Mhm.
Both he and Matthew, 1956 Top Guy. I remember he mentioned in our live, he was like, to think that a 55 Clemente made it from 1955 until early mid 90s, whenever PSA started grading, and for those cars to be eights, nines, things of that nature, to not think that, yeah, maybe there's some shenanigans afoot is, yeah, super naive. After
Mhm.
hearing this guy talking, like,
Yeah,
you
especially
know,
in the vintage market. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like you can get away like because there's a couple cars that I purchased that were the newer cars that I know for a fact pulled them, put them in a top loader, sent them away, and they came back 10. So it's like that's a little bit easier to think. But
Mhm.
like you're saying with the vintage stuff, that's just stuff that's been from 1955 and on. And for it to not like I know for a fact we sent out a couple Jordans. We sent out the Jordan that looked pristine to us. We sent out another Jordan that was supposedly going to grade a 9 and came back in a 7 as well. So it's like it's automatically and those cards are from like 1986, 1987, and
Mhm.
they're automatically getting sevens.
Yeah,
So what about these cards from 1955?
yeah, and well, also too, I mean, on the other side of the coin, supposedly it was the grading was, a little more,
Easier.
lenient back then,
Hmm.
so there's that too, but still, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that, like you said, I mean, some of these cars are old as hell, and that they go through the grading process and come out with high grades. Mm, it's something to think about. It hasn't deterred me though at all from like I don't haven't I'm not gonna lose confidence in buying them still. I'm gonna buy them anyways. I mean, like you said, it's gone on. Trimming has gone on. It's gonna continue to go on. And it's always like, dude, it's the that's why we have cops and robbers. They they're always figuring out the system how to get around it, and somebody got to catch them, and then once they catch them, they figure out another way to get around it. So again, I mean, I'm not losing. I'm still gonna buy them, the ones that I like, because to me, it's still at the end of the day, it's gives it some legitimacy to the card. So
Yeah.
mhm. I mean, and then on the modern side, that like you said, I mean, if you pick up a modern one, and that's a little more. Not that that doesn't happen in the modern thing either. Like, don't get it, like, bro, come on, that's gotta happen, right?
That
It's got to.
No, it does happen, and it's just
Yeah,
it's ugh. It's like you don't wanna think about it, but it's just tough, man. It's tough not to think about it, and then where is the cutoff between, you know, getting a cloth, microfiber cloth, and just, "Oh, I'm just wiping out the stains from the"
mhm,
not so much stains, but any thumbprints from here to, a card care kit to roll in the corners, and then from there to trim, like where is the cutoff to where it's okay that that card was not altered or manipulated
right.
manipulated in any way? And what are we as hobbyists supposed to be cool with, you know, at this point in time? Is it gonna get to the point where, listen, like we said, the cat's out the bag? Like, are we just gonna accept the fact that people trim cards and a lot of cards are trimmed and it is what it is and that's okay? Are you ever gonna be like, it's okay?
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever say it's okay, but I'm gonna have to live with it,
Mhm.
right? Because I mean,
So you're saying that you're not gonna go get a paper cutter anytime soon, or
I don't think so. Because I was never good at arts and crafts anyway. So I
if you
like.
get the itch one time and bust out that sheet in the back there and get to work?
Yeah, no, that's not happening, man. What it cost me to frame that thing, I'm not even dare touching it. So yeah, no, man,
Like the great curator just had the Dunkin' Go Nuts, the sheet at
that was
Dunkin'
sweet,
Dunkin' Donuts.
man. That was sweet. If you guys haven't seen that, check out the Great Curator's feed. That was cool. He was at Dunkin' Donuts, and yeah, that was cool, man. Like,
But
I
bro,
just,
just when he turned it to the side and he's in the sun and the way
yeah,
that thing just shine, dude, I love 90s inserts, man. Just
yeah,
the shine is just so beautiful.
yeah, it hits different, and just uncut sheets as a whole. I mean, like I said, I mean, I have this one behind me, and just to think that that I don't know how they, I don't know how the heck they make them sell their way out of the factory. Talk about shenanigans, because I mean, how do these things? I don't know if anybody knows. Please, by all means, DM. But so these things end up in the wild somehow,
Mhm.
and like they're cool, man. They're works of art. I remember he has a Marvel Masterpieces one, I think it
Mhm.
is,
Mhm.
and when they're framed like that, it's cool. Like I mean, I have the one framed behind me, and I did the white outline because in between the cards is a white border, so it kind of looks like it all goes together, and uh, they're sweet, man. As I said, I would mind picking up another one at some point. I don't know what it would be, but um, to me, they're like when they're framed, they're just works of art.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot cooler than saying, you build a set or you have a bunch of them in a shoebox or,
Mhm.
a 50 count box. It's a lot cooler display that way. And like you said, it makes it a work of art. Now it becomes a collectible. And you can, those are the base cards, but it's cool. You know what I mean? It's like, man, look at these 86 or 96 cards,
Yeah.
from that year, Allen Iverson's rookie year. So it's definitely it's an eye catcher.
Yeah. So, PMGs or anything super crazy limited aside, would you what uncut sheet? Give me one.
What I would get?
Yeah, what would you like to have? Like, yeah, I mean, just if you could ask Santa for one.
That's an interesting one.
Not so much the most expensive, like 52 tops. Then no, something
Yeah,
that you like you're gonna hang up on your wall and that somebody comes and be like, oh, that's cool. Like
yeah.
whatever. I don't care if it's 91 score football.
No,
Like,
it could be like I would say the 89, 90 hoops.
okay,
That would
yeah,
probably because that was like the first set I had that set. And that was like the first one I bought that had the David Robinson rookie. So that would be pretty cool to have that just for you
yeah.
know, shits and giggles.
Yeah, yeah, that's green. Yeah, no, I like that 'cause that's like you have that set, so that's like a you. Yeah, okay, I can dig
That
that.
was my
Yeah,
first set, and that was like at the time when David Robinson, his rookie card, that was one of the biggest chases back in the day, and that kind of was like in the height of the junk wax era that we all,
yeah,
remember.
yeah. What a time to be alive,
Yeah. Mm,
dude. We didn't know any better at all.
No, not at all, dude. Like I said, I just that just goes back to that dude in the furniture store,
Yeah,
you know. Oh, you like basketball? Here, come check this out. And they had the David Robinson rookie, and I saved up my money and I bought that set. And I remember to this day, I still have the top loader, same card, the same set. So it's pretty cool.
there had to have been dealers at that time that didn't know either. I would think. Like, I mean, not
Um,
everybody could have been in the know. I mean, obviously they know when they're ordering the product, but did they know they were in the middle of the junk wax era until they were?
I mean, some people knew, but like, bro, it's like right now, they talk about the junk slab. Um, you know, until we look for, years from now, are we just gonna have a ton of slabs that are worthless?
Mhm.
I remember the first time that I seen slabs in like almost like a $5 box, and that was at the Philly show. That was what was his name? Santiago was the
Okay.
first person that I seen to have like $5 slabs, and I remember that I was like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like those cards are great. In my mind, I was like, how the hell are
Yeah,
you gonna have those like almost like a dollar box? And now it's gonna be probably the norm at at these shows because there's just a lot of stuff that was graded that shouldn't have been.
yeah.
And
It's a good point. It's a good point. I mean, yeah, that's damn. Now you think about it, yeah, we're gonna have that moment where it's just gonna be bargain slab boxes. Like,
yeah,
damn.
yeah. Santiago, he's ahead of his time.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had 'em, and
I
I was
mean,
like, "Well, what the hell you got slab?" And I started looking at them. I'm like, "Yeah, these are kinda worth $5 because I wouldn't pay shit for these cards either."
man, just think about all those like base prisms that were. Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah, damn. That hits, bro. Because it's like, yo, we talk about junk wax, and
Mhm.
those are you could just like you say, you pick up the cards, but these are slabs. Like
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
actually paid
Somebody
money to
yeah.
grade these
But you think
cards.
about it at that time, right before
Like,
it all went to craziness, there was $8, $9 to go get them,
mhm.
bulk sent over to PSA. So people were just sending anything and everything. And it didn't matter what it was because once you got it, you can get those cards for a buck, 50 cents, throw them in a slab for $8, and then you can sell them for 50, 75, $100.
That's wild, man. What a come up. What a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be known as one of those landmark times in the
Yeah.
hobby.
And that's exactly, so we're in this time frame right now. So like you said, did people know back then? Probably not. They were just caught up in the frenzy. We were just told, buy some cards, keep them for 30 years, and you could sell them for freaking make a killing.
Yeah.
And then just came to find out like no, because everybody had them, bro. It
Yeah.
really didn't matter.
The people telling you that weren't wrong at the
No.
time because they were basing it off of the stuff that was made in the 50s and 60s.
Right.
So they got that 20-year jump on you and us when we're in the 80s.
Right.
They're like, so these cards, so theoretically, that
They were
Robinson,
right. They were right. And
yeah,
there was things that if you knew and you were in the know in the hobby, that if you purchased the right things, what I mean? It doesn't matter what area you're in. If you know what the right cards are. So if even if you go to 2003 and you're able to get some exquisite cards and just like if your main focus, you would have been paying
Mhm.
more than everybody else. You wouldn't been paying $5 a pack or whatever. You would have been paying, say $500 to get those exquisite boxes. But in the long run, if you did that consistently over, a couple year period and you held those cards, man, imagine, the collection you could have built and what you would have been sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter what era you're in. It's about how are you doing it as a collector, and are you collecting the right things? And that's the tough thing because you never know if you're banking on, say a up and coming rookie.
Yeah.
Because as much as we, chose LeBron as the chosen one, to be the man, he still had to go out there and and perform. And he's far
Yep.
exceeded everybody's expectations. And we love to hate on LeBron. Everybody loves to hate on LeBron. But at the end of the day, man, he's like, you know, generational player, came in right out of high school and lived up to all the expectations and even surpassed them.
Yeah. Very tough to do so, man. Think about how many players have come before him and after him
Yeah.
with all that hype and just have fall off a cliff. So
Yeah.
that I gotta tip my hat to. At least he lived up to it.
Yeah, and he's still balling, still, doing his thing. It's not like what he used to, but he's a definitely integral in what the Lakers are doing right now, and they have a chance at another championship. So again, him and Curry going back and forth. Whoever wins that series, I'm not saying they're going to win it all, but their legacy, if it just takes it to another level. Whoever comes out of that series, so whether it's Curry or LeBron, it's just icing on the cake to already freaking legendary careers.
That's true. Yeah, a lot riding on that. Very
Yeah.
true.
So Tone, man, listen, man, most collectors, they look at vintage baseball and obviously they view it as the foundation of the hobby. You collect vintage baseball. I've dabbled in it a little bit. Rob, sports card therapist, vintage baseball is his thing, and sprinkled in with some basketball. But with that sentiment, many of these cards or sets, that are held in high regard, they demand the higher values because that's those are the cars that they grew up with, the collectors back in the day. That's what they were looking to collect. Um, but we as fans of sports, we've never really seen a lot of these players in baseball. I mean, we didn't see the Babe Ruths, we didn't see the Mickey Mantles. We caught glimpses of Clemente. We know because we're Puerto Rican. That's what our parents talked about. We know our favorite sport is football. You know what I'm saying? And then next basketball, but mainly, football has taken over as the number one sport. And with baseball's viewership, the numbers dwindling and football being the king of American sports. I mean, do you see like anytime soon a transition happen to where football eventually takes over baseball, in the hobby, or will always be second to America's pastime?
Mm, that's a very good question because I think our age group, let's just say dudes between 40 and 50, maybe 55, right? So we were always told, like you said, that the baseball, baseball, baseball. We didn't see those guys. We come up, we were brought up through the junk wax era. Other
Hmm.
than you have your Griffeys, some guys, Jeters, guys like that stick out.
Hmm.
But for the most part, you started to see that transition. 90s basketball, 90s football into 2000s football, stuff like that. And now you can see, I mean, the ratings don't lie, not even close.
Right.
So I often think too, I'm like, damn. So when we are the hierarchy of when we're the Corkies of the hobby and all those guys, because eventually those guys are going to be gone.
Yep.
So those stories of yesteryear are going to be gone with them. So like where you say, oh, I've never seen Babe Ruth play, so why should I consider this card to be worth X amount of dollars when I saw Barry Sanders playing? He was the man.
Right.
So those are going to be the stories that are going to be told to the young bucks and guys like obviously Jordan, but your 90s and 2000s. But dude, I don't. Maybe it sounds crazy, but I don't think that's far off. Because again, I think the stories that we tell when we're going to be, I said the old heads of the hobby
Hmm.
are going to be not about Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth and those guys are going to be about our the guys we saw coming up. I don't think it's far fetched. Like I always tell you, man, I was like, if there's one aspect of the hobby where I think it could do a little come up, it is that football. And I mean, call me crazy, but I don't think it'll ever surpass baseball, but I think the gap will close.
Mhm.
And when I say surpass baseball, I mean the old stuff,
Yeah.
the 52 top, like the legendary stuff that I think is still, even though, like I said, we'll still be telling those new stories, but in the back of our mind, we're like, yeah, but this card is
Mhm.
XYZ. But yeah, I do think that gap will close.
Yeah, and it's tough, you know what I mean? Like, vintage alone, it just has that mystique just for being older,
Mhm.
and we always talk about what came first. So that's always gonna have that rare, sentimentality, and people are gonna gravitate towards that because that's the first thing that people started collecting. So you no matter what, there's always gonna be a market for vintage. But like you said, man, like, most of us here, Rob even talks about it, how he recorded, all the Super Bowls
Mhm.
and watched them over and over and over again. And he can, word for word, play for play, he could tell you everything about it, for the, the Giants. And that's how we grew up. And it's not, and again, what kind of screwed us in baseball too was the steroid era, where we could have had like Barry Bonds being the freaking man. I mean, because every generation has that one player, and
That's
Barry
a great
Bonds was
point.
that dude, man. And because of that, it's kind of like, no, we can't celebrate him. And the
Right.
purists want to say, that whole steroid era, just throw it out the window. When that was one of the most exciting times in baseball. So
Yeah,
all those players that were freaking unbelievable, you can't celebrate them. So
that's
it just
true.
throws out a complete era in baseball, and you combine that with the junk wax, and it's like, man,
Just goes right off
yeah.
the
So then it's
right off
just
the cliff.
vintage, and then now it's, you
Now,
know,
right.
yeah, and then now it's just all about. To me, it's just gambling in baseball. You know what I mean? Like, all it is doing the prospecting, just because it's something that if you've been collecting this entire time, it's something that been passed down to you.
Mhm.
Like, this is how you do it. You get this Bowman Chrome, you get this, this tops, and you go for the rookies, and then you flip them, and it's just a game they've been
Right.
playing it for years and years, and it's like you don't even watch the goddamn game.
No, you don't have to because 'cause they're just buying whatever prospect it is, and then just a little hype and whatever, and then it just moves. And once the
Yeah,
games actually start, most of those guys fall off the cliff. Baseball's
right,
the hardest sport. Like,
right,
it ain't no joke, bro, to play. Like, you gotta hit
exactly.
that's hard.
And you got guys like Danny Black who are like baseball purists. You know what I mean? They're going to the minor league games, and
Mhm.
like, I respect all that stuff, but like, majority of us, 99% of us, we might catch a few games during the season, maybe go to a game at the ballpark, which is always cool. And then of course, once playoff baseball starts, then, that's when it picks up, and if your team's in it, then
Yeah,
sky's the
it's
limit.
kinda
That's when the hype comes. But other than that, you know, it's so tough to sit down, and they've been doing things to improve the game with the pitch clock and
mhm.
bigger bases for whatever that's worth, and things like that. But I don't know, man. Football just seems to reign supreme, and it's just a matter of time to me that it would only make sense, not just the quarterbacks, the
No,
greatest of the greats.
everybody, right,
Yeah,
and I also right, go ahead. No, and I also think too, like, 90s through later 90s into 2000s football, because the guys that sell the vintage football, 650s, 60s, 70s, you see those guys at a show, they're not getting much traction, man. I actually sometimes I feel bad, man. You'll see
yeah,
those guys, they're just it's a lot of because the game wasn't what it wasn't as popular, it wasn't as covered. A lot of people have no idea. I have like who the hell are these guys?
hmm
Like, I don't know. But now since the game again, it's a global game now. It's seen in tons of countries, super popular, and it continues to grow. So how can a sport continue to grow in popularity and not have that not be reflected in the hobby at some point?
yeah,
I just don't. It has to.
yeah.
Like,
I
it's
mean,
or it
similar
should.
to soccer. You know what I mean? Like, soccer is like a world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
soccer is like the biggest sport out there worldwide.
Mhm.
And it's not as big in the US, but worldwide, soccer is the sport, man. Um, and it's been slowly gaining traction. And I don't know, but it's not football. Football is another level when it, what I
Mm,
mean, to me. So,
yeah, I agree.
especially
I
in the
don't know,
United
man.
States.
Yeah, yeah, big time. So I don't know. Maybe, like I said, I would love to see Randy Moss, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice. I mean, Jerry Rice still, but like all those guys just lift it up because I mean, like I said, that's sorry, man. That's the new America's pastime. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, I don't, all the purists, I'm sorry, but the numbers don't lie, as they
yeah,
say.
yeah. And I totally agree. Like I said, and there's always going to be that special little place for everybody,
Mhm.
for vintage. That's always going to be around just because people always gravitate towards historical things. And the older those things get, from the T206s up until, the 1950s, it's like that's always going to be a chase for people, especially once you get in the hobby and you get past that first stage of when you're trying to,
Yeah,
which is something that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But you get excited just buying a box and ripping and, doing that. It's like you're going through stages as a collector. And then once you get through all that, then you realize, well, let me really do a deep dive and see what this is all about. It's almost like clockwork. All these guys, they just generally just transition into vintage because it just makes
mhm,
sense. And sometimes it's almost like you get burnt out trying to keep up with the Joneses and with all the modern stuff, and it's so risky. You want to get into something that's, like, okay, I know if I put some money into, this Mickey Mantle or this, whoever insert player, Jackie Robinson, that you're gonna get, your bang for your buck. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like we always talk about the stocks and bonds and stuff like that. That's gonna be a nice mutual fund that your money will, you know, I don't want to say safe, be safe, but
yeah.
it's a lot safer than, putting it in a, a Joe Herbert. I mean, Justin Herbert,
Yeah.
golden boy type thing. That guy every year comes and it's like you just keep hearing his name and it's like he hasn't done anything.
Listen, say what you want, and maybe I should be on the up and up with this stuff, and but like what you say, yo, all the new, it's too much. Like you listen to John Newman's show where he does the segment with like new releases, like
Yeah.
38 things coming out every week. Like who the hell's keeping up with all that stuff? I'm like,
John
I'm
Newman.
shocked that he can even read the list. I'm like, I'm gonna start buying all this stuff. I'm like, like what? Like,
Who has the money to keep up buying these boxes?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I think that these things just get sent to distributors and then the breakers, and they sit there and people just do what they do with the breaks because like like dude, again he reads the list and it just goes on and on and on, and I'm like, who is buying all this stuff? Like it's just, and it'll be like one sport and like 10 things. It's not
Yeah.
like one hockey, one baseball. No, it's like five baseball, six basketball. Like what? Like
Yeah, and that's why I'm so curious as to how Fanatics is gonna, do this whole market share with the are they gonna consolidate and just have, like your high end, your mid tier, and then, just stuff for everybody that has some hits, but it's just gonna be a fun rip and then something maybe for the kids and just keep it kind of like simple. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to have 30 different brands with 160 million parallels of, the next hottest dude. I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, man, they're in the business to make money, and they just I mean, they're putting people out of business left and right. So it might get to the point where they can do whatever they want,
Hmm.
which is not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
mean,
I mean,
not everything is unicorns and roses with those guys.
it's
There's gonna
not, but
be
like what what is so unicorn and roses right now?
nothing. But I'm just saying, like sometimes we act like they are gonna come in on a white horse and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
save the hobby from
I
whatever
don't,
it
I
is.
don't even see them as saving the hobby. It's just like I'm just curious as if they're gonna do business as usual or they're gonna try to at least change it up, get the brightest hobby minds out there and at least do something to where um they move the hobby forward into a respectable, like it almost becomes like the art market, you know what I mean? The antiquities
Mhm.
market, like something to where we're taken seriously. Kenny G came out with the show. It kind of, brought some light to people that, not necessarily familiar with, the card market. They know about cars and collectibles, but they've never really dealt into it, so they get to see a little glimpse. And regardless of whether it was well done, poorly acted, or whatever, the
Yeah,
fact is it's stuff that, these are deals that went down and things that are happening constantly. So it was cool to get somebody that and actually be a representative of the hobby for the masses to see. So I'm just wondering if, okay, little by little, I just want the hobby to be recognized as a legit, what I mean, thing
I
out
got you.
there as opposed to, I mean, nothing wrong with it just being a hobby, but
It's
when
more
you
than that.
yeah, when you're dealing with these big boy numbers and you're putting big boy money into it,
Mhm.
it becomes a little bit more than a hobby. And you would want to know that if you are serious about this and you're putting your hard-earned dollars into it, that it's just not going down the drain. And it's just, oh, that was fun while that lasted. Let me try my next hobby.
That's true.
Now that I
I
just
know,
spent, $200,000 in the last 10 years.
bro. You imagine? I know it might be a little out of order, but can you go to the topic about your son-in-law? Because I
Yeah. Well,
that
that's
that
actually,
ties into that,
yeah,
and I just have like a couple things pop in my head. But go ahead.
exactly. That's what they call a transition, sir. So my son-in-law, out of the blue, bro. They just got married. My daughter and him. They're about to have a baby. Grandpa Oz is soon gonna be in July, and here I just getting a group text with the four of us, my daughter, um, himself, and my wife and me. He just starts sending random pictures of cards, and I'm like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "Yo, yo, pops,
Yeah,
check
well, I was
these
gonna
out."
say, what does he call you? Pop? Is it Pops? Is it Papa
Papa
Oz?
Oz.
Papa Oz? Okay.
He's like, "Hey, check these out." I was like, what is this?" And here he is. He's buying like retail boxes from Walmart
Mhm.
or Target. Some Revolution, some Prism, Donruss, and he's just like he was funny because he went and he watched the Kenny Golden series before I did. And he's like, "Yo, did you see that new, the show about the collections and stuff?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He goes, "Oh man, that thing was awesome." So it's kind of like I think like he's talked about cars before, but more so like in the NFT type thing. He's a young boy, just graduated college, so he was more so talking about NFTs. Now all of a sudden he watches this thing, and here he goes buying boxes, retail boxes and stuff. And he's like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And I was like, "Well, do you want the,
Time
you
to
know what I mean?"
give him the quirky. Well,
Yeah,
got about $15 here.
yeah. Basically is what he did. You know what I mean? And it's tough. And I was like, just gonna try to bring it to you because it's like he gets caught up in this whole excitement with Kenny G and watching, these big collectibles and stuff like that. But, and we all dream about one day pulling that card out of a box, or finding a collection somewhere that, Tony, you're always looking for stuff like that and hoping to find that one gem, a PMG green Jordan sitting somewhere in somebody's closet that's just been sitting there. We all, try to do that, but it's like, what do you say to someone, who's just coming into the hobby? They're super excited. Their freaking mojo's on a million, and they're dreaming of becoming like a millionaire overnight. And like, how do you go about explaining to them like the hobby pitfalls and what could happen without bursting their bubble of excitement? How do you go
Yeah.
about that?
I had a similar situation with my wife's friend who has a young son, and he's, I want to say, between 8 and 11 years old. He just discovered he's probably been collecting now for about the last year or so.
Hmm.
And so she shows me, she's like, "Hey, so and so went to a car." My wife's telling me, "Hey, so and so went to a car show and look at the cars that her son bought." And she shows me the pictures, and I'm like looking at them like, ah. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Well," I said, nothing and something. She's like, "What do you mean nothing?" I was like, "Well, obviously the kid likes those cars, so whatever, it's cool. He looks like he's having a good time. But if she thinks that those cars are going to be worth something one day, she's probably very mistaken." And then I go explain to her why, because whatever it is, it could be a Chronicles thing and all the way up to whatever. So damn, like when somebody's new like that, it's crazy. 'Cause I wish someone would have talked to me like that way back when. But then again, who the hell knew? But dude, it's almost like, especially with him, it's like he never, other than it sounds like he's trying to chase getting paid.
Yeah,
I don't know that he's a true collector
nah,
of. Right.
and he doesn't
Okay.
really watch sports like that
Right.
either.
Okay. So that's two strikes against my brother already. Because you ain't watching the game, so you could care less what's going on. You're just chasing the dollars.
Yeah,
So maybe he should.
he's a gamer, bro. He's like a straight up video
Okay,
gamer,
right.
like the
Okay.
the over
Yeah,
the
yeah.
top gamer.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, he's got the headphones and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha. So somebody like that, man, especially like him, just knowing, like I said, if you're, I'm like, listen, man. And I was like, you're this isn't a lottery. Number one, I was like, if you don't know any of these guys, don't buy them.
Mhm.
Don't get number one. I was like, because if you're not now, if you're a sports fan, and that's a different story. Say, hey, who do you like? What teams do you like? And then at first, maybe it'd be like, okay, you can start out with this stuff, but if you, what do you want to get out of this? Do you want to build a collection or do you want to try and build something that over time is going? Then you explaining that maybe buying retail is not the way to go, stuff like that. But with him, man, you better pump the brakes on that young blood real quick, because I was like, listen, man, if you got the baby coming on the way, that money needs to be spent on diapers, formula, stuff like that. Because guess what? You're not gonna hit no Julio crazy car. The chances of hitting a big card, a Julio Rodriguez or
Wander
whoever,
Franco.
Wander Franco, out of a retail box are probably slim and none, because not only do you have this odds stacked against you, you got people in there weighing boxes and all kinds of shenanigans going on the retail side. And not that it doesn't happen on the hobby side, but again, I would first start out with, do you like the sport? Do you like a certain player? And that first. And then are you looking to just build something that you like to look at, or are you looking to build something that you're hoping is worth money one day, and then try to explain to them what's going on, which is what I did with my wife. I say, hey, listen, just shoot her this text, just copy and paste it, whatever. And I told her, say, hey, listen, I see your son's collecting cards. Looks like he's having fun. If you have any questions, hit me up. Just these are some of the things. And I gave her, I said, look, when you go to a show, stuff, because she took him to the Philly show and all that stuff. And the kid's having a great, that's great. Trust me, it's great. But you can tell the stuff that he's buying is just like flavor of the week type stuff.
Mhm.
It's just, I'm like, and so, like I said, I think that you can talk to someone, make sure, see where their head's at first, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, like everything you said is exactly what I said to him. I got to the point where, because I was working, it was just as I got back from vacation. He's popping out all these pictures. So I'm trying to text, deliver the mail, and I'm like, this is
Yeah.
way too much to try to come across. And I don't want to come across arrogant or like a prick either.
Right.
Trying to like say, look, what you're doing really isn't the right way to go. So I was like, I just called him up.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo," he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Listen, man." And exactly, "Oh, what are you trying to do? What are your favorite teams? And he's from Philly, so his first go to is, "Oh yeah, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey."
Hmm.
I was like, "Okay." I said, "Well, Joel Embiid just won the MVP, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Well, this is probably the highest his market has ever been, and it's going to be for a little bit." I said, "You probably don't want to start buying into Joel Embiid." Oh, oh, okay. Well, what should I do then? I was like, well, it depends on what you want to do. I said, but if you want to look at one of the hobby darlings, that's Tyrese Maxey. Another one that if they were to make the finals and he's contributing to the team, he could possibly be something. And he has a lot of growth that he can, become one of the top players. Is he going to become an all timer? Probably not. you know, Joel has that potential, but he's so up and down, you never know. Even though he won this MVP, there's no guarantee unless he wins a championship, it's for nothing.
Yeah,
You know,
he would just be
so
like a good
yeah,
player of
yeah,
his
it's a
time. And
blip on the radar. One of the,
yeah,
most talented big men never to, win the big one. He'll
yeah,
be another Barkley, and that's it. Their markets will only be so. He'll never be up there with the Giannis or the big boys like Jordan and stuff like that. So we talked for about an hour as I'm delivering the mail, and I just broke it down to him. But instead of buying these boxes, I said, if you're gonna buy boxes, go, buy hobby boxes. They have
mhm,
the better hits. And I said, as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even be ripping those boxes. I said, be strategic with it. If you want to get a couple, of a good um, quarterback crew that in the last couple years that with the Jalen Hurts and the Justin Herbert and all that, you could buy a
mhm,
box of that stuff, Prism, whatever it may be, a nice, save up some money and get a real good box and just put it to the side. Or if you believe in the next upcoming crop of QBs, you can get a box of that stuff and just leave that to the side and use it as investments like that. I said, but for the most part, just save your money and figure out what you want to do, get in your lane and just buy singles, just buy the cars, buy them already graded, and know that the what you're buying is an actual, like we always talk about, top 1%,
yeah.
of that card. So
Well,
it was an eye-opening conversation for him because, like I said, that's the thing when you go and you start looking at all the dollars that are being spent by people with money, and because they have funny money. They can do whatever they want when they come into this hobby. They can buy whatever they want. They could buy the latest Lamborghini. They could buy the
Right.
biggest house. They just come in here into they love sports. There's rich people out there that love sports, so why not get the best pieces of memorabilia out there? The dream team, stuff.
Yeah.
You got Karl Malone, his wife freaking saving all the uniforms and getting them signed. Nobody else thought of it.
I know.
Here his wife was the
It's
smart one, says all that stuff. Now Karl Malone, obviously he's had his issues,
a little
to
bit.
say to say the least.
Little
So,
bit.
I'm guaranteeing you if he didn't have those issues, he wouldn't be selling, this memorabilia. But,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Not
that's a once in a lifetime collection. That's something you go to the grave with and give to your kids or whatever. You pass that down because that's museum type quality stuff.
yeah. That's it's dope, man, that he had you there, and hopefully he listens. Like I said, I mean, and if he don't, just tell him to call me too, and I'll put it over the top. Uh, Cause that's not it, man. I mean, and dude, thank God he has you. Like, remember we had the hobby Big Brother stuff,
Yeah.
uh, dude. Cause like right now he's got a baby on the way,
Yes.
and you're buying that stuff, and
Yeah.
because he's chasing a payday, like you can see it.
Right.
And can you imagine? It's
Well,
like,
you know what it is? He saw the kid that had the Steph Curry rookie, you know what I mean, pulled the
mhm.
gold out of 50, and Curry being, the man, obviously it went up. When did that end up selling for? I know they wanted it at a specific price.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez, I forget offhand. It went a little. Wait, did it go a little? Yeah, it went a little less than anticipated because of
yeah,
the grade. It came back an 8.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, the guy was promising the
Like they
world, and he
broke
was like,
it actually went a little bit more, but not as much as they thought it would
right,
be because
right,
of the
because he thought it was going to grade higher than what it did.
yeah.
But still, I mean, the fact that like I said, hopefully he listens, and now he's stuck probably with a bunch of retail junk wax, basically.
Yeah, because even if you get that, then you gotta go ahead and you gotta submit
Yeah,
it for grading and hope that it grades well, and, like, the whole 9 is like, dude, why not just take all that money you're gonna be spending and just you could buy that case hit, you
yeah.
know,
But nobody
for
tells you that. Again, like if he don't have you, he's just out watching TV
yeah,
and hoping and chasing and praying, and he has no idea that he's buying the wrong stuff.
right, he's asking, my daughter, his wife, "Hey,
Yeah,
babe, should I buy this box?" Yeah, and she's probably like, "No." He's like, "Well, I didn't
yeah,
I think I could hit something here, look, this has, like, an auto in here," and he
yeah.
hit an auto, but it was some guy that I never even heard of. I'm like, "I don't know who that is," and it was a sticker auto on top of that. I was like, "Bro."
Ugh, jeez. Yeah. Well, I said I'm glad that he had you for help him out there a little bit.
But
So
it's cool though because it's really showing that, we talk all that crap on Kenny G and all that stuff, but, like, listen, man, that show does matter. There's people out there that are watching these shows, especially Netflix. Everybody, they're like
right.
Netflix is the place to go when you want to try to watch something, and this stuff pops up, and especially if it's in the top 10 or things to watch, people are just gonna go through it. They got
Yeah.
nothing better to do, and they're gonna pop that on, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, I never knew about that." So
Yeah. And the thing too is that when that was filmed, that was also
the height,
like, yeah. So like a lot of those numbers are inflated where
yes,
they're not those numbers today,
right, and
but
they
they
don't
don't
know
tell
that.
you that.
Yeah,
Oh, mm. It's, tell my man to pump the brakes a little bit.
I did, I did. I told him to go listen to Cousins Collectibles from the beginning.
There you go. Start at the beginning and listen to that, and then come talk to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And then spread the word of the Cousins gospel.
yeah, we need those ratings.
All right, cousin Tony. We got two more things left. So this one I really
Yeah,
wanted to pick your brain real quick. So it's you've gotten a taste of both the old school way of collecting, building sets and displaying them in a binder, going, we talk about Corky, going Corky style. And of course, from the beginning, you've always been hunting for singles, and things that fit into your PC. So give me a couple pros and cons of both, just getting the singles and then, of course, building the set. And which do you prefer now since you've done both?
yeah. I'll start with the singles. Obviously, you can pick and choose what you want. It's a lot easier to go to hone in. Hey, if I want to be the Mike Tyson guy, I'm going after these, and so obvious that's the obvious way. Also, too, it's a lot less overhead too. Like, yeah, I mean, if I'm trying to and build getting all kinds of stuff and buying boxes and hoping that I hit the Tyson car, that's a whole thing. So
Mhm.
obviously, it streamlines the process. It's not as how do you say like it is exciting, but not like there's not a lot of suspense. I'm talking about like when you buy a box and you hope that hit
Mhm.
hit the thing. But yeah, obviously, you see the car, you buy the car, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no
Right.
it's like
I mean,
that's
other
about
than
as
if it's like an auction and you win
yeah.
the auction, but you're still you know what you're gonna get and you've zeroed in on it, so
Yeah, yeah. So it's that. And that, now the other side. So I finished filling the binder up yesterday. Dude, I felt like a little kid, straight up. Because that was like the beginnings of the way I used to hobby, either binder or putting in the shoe boxes.
Mhm.
So I'm sitting upstairs yesterday and I'm filling these things out. And at some point, like my wife, she had gone to bed and whatever. And I'm going through them and checking off my list, going through them, checking off my list. It just hits different, man. It's like to me way more nostalgic than buying singles.
Mhm.
Like it's just hits way different. It's just like, you're like paging through a binder and it's definitely and I actually texted Kamish. I sent him a picture. He puts the big heart emoji and stuff. He's like, I love it. He goes, we should get together and binder. I was like, nah, that would be weird. But um, but but yeah, it's definitely like it's just a different way of collecting.
Is it cathartic?
Yeah, it is. It is because it's like you're putting stuff in, and especially for me, like I like my stuff in order. So obviously they're going by. I have them in numerical order, and some of the duplicates that I have, I'm comparing. Oh, which one do I like a little bit better? I don't have
Mhm.
that with a single. I buy one single and then that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like with this, like I said, the singles is a quick way to hobby. You buy it, you look at it, and you put it in the box, and then that's pretty much it. The
Yeah.
binder, it's like you're picking them up, and if you get duplicates, like I said, you're looking. Oh, this one's a little bit better than the other one. Let me just replace it. Very cathartic, very like old school, very like like a chill vibe thing. It was just for me. I'm so like I could just sit here and now so I'm building this thing and sure enough, Corky calls. I'm like, because I was thinking, I was like, oh, I have all these extras. I'm gonna probably get them to him and he could, do his thing. He calls, he just picked up a 56 Mickey Mantle raw, which is very expensive. Dude, the 56 Mickey Mantle, because that was his triple crown year.
Mm.
So that's probably the most expensive card in that set. And he picks one up. He's like, "Hey, guess what, buddy?" So and it's a quirky style card. It's a little, used and abused, but overall pretty nice card.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, how's it going with your set?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, not bad." I said, "I have over 200 cards in the set." He's like, "Oh," he goes, "Trust me, this is just the beginning. You're gonna want to build 57, 58, 59." I'm like, "I don't know, Cork." He goes, "Nope, nope. I'm telling you, I'm telling you." He goes, I just know it. I just know it." And he goes on and on and on. He goes, "Listen." He goes, "You sit down, you crack a beer open, you sit down, and you're just relaxing. It's just you and the cards." He goes, "It's there's nothing better than that." I was like, "You know what, Corky?" I was like, yeah, it's you're not that far off. Cause I was like, I was just cooling out, just putting my cards in, had the game in the background. And yeah, I know you haven't done it yet, and
Uh-huh.
maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Oh,
Actually, I do.
I have, just
Okay.
not recently.
Oh, right. Well, right. So I
I
mean,
was a binder animal back in the day.
right, right. I'm talking about now since you've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
back
yeah.
in it and maybe that 80 and 88, 89 hoops put in a
Yeah,
binder or something like that. But it definitely hits different. It's a lot more chill vibe. And as far as which one do I prefer, for the better hobby experience, believe it or not, it is the binder. I think it's a better overall experience, but the singles is this is what I want. I'm gonna get it and
yeah,
be done with it. If that stuff didn't exist, the grading and the stuff like I could binder all day.
yeah,
But I don't know if it would be sets or just like now, like thinking the way I collect, maybe just binders of said players that I like and
yeah.
just fill them up. So
Nice.
that's my long-winded answer.
Oh, we
So
got a corky on our
little
hands.
bit, yeah, a little bit, but, I don't know, we'll see. If I start building another set car, I'll have to buy Corky a beer and, say, "Yeah, you told me so." I don't know. Do you think there's anything that you'd sit down and build besides
Uh,
89 hoops?
Um,
Something that you can just like, it doesn't, I'm not even
See,
nothing
I
crazy,
what
like
what I wanna do honestly is I wouldn't be able to put it in a binder, but I do wanna get the '86 Fleer set. So, that's gonna be my
yeah,
set that I set, collect, and I build. It's just I want it graded, um,
yeah,
PSA 9. So if it were just to be just like I said, if I already have the sets. I have probably 7 complete sets that I have here in boxes. They're just in shoe boxes
uh-huh,
of certain, like 80, 89, 90, 99, 90, 91, stuff like that. Just all that classic junk wax when it comes to basketball stuff that I collected as a kid. So I already have some stuff that I could put in binders, and I have an old school binder set from stuff that I purchased from Corky, 70s
yeah,
basketball, like the real crazy stuff that
yeah,
nobody likes, you know what I mean? That doesn't sell
yeah,
for jack. But if to me it was funny and it's cool, a
yeah,
lot you go back into that binder and you look at how it just reminds me of that movie with Will Ferrell.
yeah,
Uh,
Jackie Moon.
yeah, Jack Moon, man. It just brings like it's funny as hell, man. When you look
Yeah,
at these things, it just takes me there. White guys with afros and vice
yeah,
versa, so it's just real funny and it's cool. But that's the beauty of it, man. There's no right way, no wrong way. Just
yeah,
as long as you're going ahead and you're getting some type of feeling from it, usually a good one, and allowing yourself to be, feel like a kid again. And that's one thing that we don't talk about. We talk about all the big things and the money and what this hobby can do, but the fact that it can take you back and give you those nostalgic feelings and make you feel like a kid again, that's the
yeah.
rush. That's the high that we're all chasing, man.
Do you
Seriously.
think do you think you'd appreciate your cards a little, like the ones you have, a little bit more if they were in a binder? Because like right now you can't. Remember we talked about when your collection gets so big that they're just
Yeah.
in box that you can't even. At least
Yeah.
if they're in a binder, you could display them out and
Yeah, because right now that would make sense. I just,
yeah,
you get so caught up doing so many things, and then with the extra time that I do have when I'm
yeah,
not working, I'm here with you
yeah.
talking about it. So to take the time to go ahead and buy some binders, and because it almost became like, and I wouldn't say like a joke, but it's like, like the whole binder thing is like, it's like
It's a
when we
little nerdy when you bring it up.
nerdy, and two, it's like, oh,
Right.
that's like a waste of time. You know what I mean? You want to concentrate on this, and this, and it's like you want to level up. So
Yeah,
when you get around all the content creators and they're talking about this big card and that big card and make sure it's the best
yeah,
grade, the bindering and all that kind of stuff, it gets thrown to the side. It's like, oh yeah, that's cute. That
yeah. But it's like, yeah, I hear all that, and I was saying, I'm like, you know what? So what if this is nerdy? Like it just, I think it's like it slows you way down. I'm telling you, bro, like if you did it one night where I know you're super busy, but I'm just saying one night you have a game or whatever, you just it's different, man. It's different. And it's like once like once I filled up a page, it was like a little like check mark, like, oh look, I filled up the page. Like just little victories of
Yeah. Now,
when
you
you're
know what I did that with when I first got back in was I bought a collection, certain sets. I didn't get the whole thing, but I got them from all different areas. But a majority of the Disney sets that I got from my daughter. So
Mhm.
then we got a binder for her and we put them in. You got to get the right numbers. And then the same thing with you. There was duplicates where I was like, okay, this one looks better. Let me put this
Yeah,
in here, put that one to the side. So yeah, I've done that.
yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah, no, it's cool, man. It's
yeah.
cool.
Listen, at the end of the day, all this card stuff is nerdy, so it's just
Yeah,
levels of
levels of
nerddom.
nerdiness. Yeah.
So don't be coming at me because I'm building a binder.
No,
You're
no,
over there.
no. I'm
No, not
proud.
you. I'm saying someone in
Yeah,
general. Like,
no, no,
yeah,
I'm proud of your evolution because I can remember you not even wanting to touch a raw card, because again, we just seen it
yeah,
with Mr. Mathis. Like, there's dudes, whether it's raw, graded, it doesn't matter. Like, you could think you're getting a nice Mickey Mantle 56, you're paying a decent buck, and somebody
mhm,
out there to get another, maybe a couple extra $100, got the little paper cutter out there, and you
yeah,
have no idea, and you're like, man, this is great shape for 56 tops, and you'll pay a little bit extra. Where Corky's like, nah, give me the one with the crease and the missing corner, the one they use as a lighter for a cigarette. I'll take that for 50 bucks off your hand.
all day, man. It's like he's man. Like I said, everybody hobbies differently, man.
Yeah.
He's
And
just
at the
about
end of the
getting that
day, bro, it's just like we've become so bougie when it comes as collectors. It's like that card is the same card that's in that PSA 10
That's what
holder.
he says.
It's the
Yep.
same goddamn thing. It's just this one's beat to shit,
Yeah.
and that one, was taken care of by somebody with some skills.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what he says. He goes, "Dude, at the end of the day, the card is the card."
Yep.
And listen, I've seen his sales that he does on, and his activity trading and stuff like that. There are a lot of people that think like him. He
Yeah.
puts right now he has a 52 tops sale going on. Some of them cards are beat to crap.
Mhm.
And bro, he's got 300 comments, 400 people like they're with it, man.
Yeah. $1,
I mean,
$2, $3,
oh, dude, you
$4.
got like I told you today. I mean, some of the stuff is just I'm like, get out of here. He puts up a card for $5. The guy offers $4.
Would you take 4 question
I'm
mark?
like, jeez, dude. I'm like, my goodness. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, Corky. I'm thinking, I'm like, Corky's just like going through hundreds of comments of
But you know what? Corky
guys.
does the same shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's
But
like,
you know what? That once you get to that level, when you're building sets like that, it's almost like you're trying to get the deal of all deals. So even if it's 50 cents, I'll give you 25 cents for it. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's
it's
just
just
you always
having the
whatever
story.
the thing is, you're gonna, you're just gonna
Yeah.
go below it.
I know. I just and that's a big difference between a set the well, those are raw cards, but the set building and the singles, because
Yeah.
the singles I buy are mostly all either graded or higher, or mid end singles. But yeah, I'm not offering $1 off.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's the toy
that's toy
market.
stuff.
That's the Los the Collector special.
Yeah. Oh god. Well, all right, brother. What do we got? One more?
You know what? Let's save it. Let's save it
Okay,
for Thursday
perfect.
Night Live.
Love it.
Little
Love it.
this pretty cool thing that we got cooking up. So we'll save it for the Thursday Night Live. My wife is texting me saying, "Let's go. We got a movie to watch."
Ooh,
She's starting a new job, so she's all
good
excited.
luck.
So yeah, this
Nice.
upcoming week, she's gonna be finally back. She's for the last couple years since COVID hit, working from home.
Yeah.
So now she's moved into another bank closer in this area that's actually going to have an office and stuff for her to get the hell out the house, which is good for me too, you know,
Yeah.
because
You don't have to do those covert missions of
covert missions, but more so like I'm trying to get home and,
yeah,
and get and she's trying to get out.
I
So
got you.
we're on like two different wavelengths. I'm
Yeah,
out all day, 12 hours. All I want to do is be home. And
right.
she's in the house all day. She
She
just
wants
wants
to
to
get
get
out.
out. So
Yeah.
and it's like arguing over stupidness. I'm like, listen,
Yeah, I hear you.
go get yourself a job that you can get out of the house.
There you go. Perfect, perfect. Let's just leave it at that. We don't want
Yeah.
to be giving any more fuel to the fire. We don't want the episode to be coming on by accident. Oh,
Yeah.
before we leave, I got a one of a kind collectible for you. I
Oh,
forgot.
for me?
Yeah, for you. I was out today
Oh.
and let me put this on. I'm telling you, you never seen this. These
Oh.
are one of a kind Torres Selecta chips.
Oh, look at that.
But they're the Torres brand. I've never seen such a thing, so I picked these up for you there.
And that's not regular salt. That's
This is
Mediterranean salt.
Mediterranean salt. This is even bougier salt. But when I saw
Yo.
that today, I said,
Where'd you see that at?
saw it in Kevin Nagandi's hometown of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
So I was out and about, and
Name dropping, sir.
yeah, look at me. I was out and about watching the Sixers game out there, and I saw these, and so I have a bag of chips for you. I'll bring it to you
Wow.
sometime this
Appreciate
week
that.
while you're on the. You can either open it or seal it or whatever you want to
I'm
do.
gonna
But
leave that just like that.
yeah, these are what is it? These are from Spain, I believe.
Oh,
So
that's where I'm from.
yeah, look at that.
Sort of.
Aren't we all? So
Yes.
there you go, buddy.
Beautiful.
See that? Look at
Love
that.
it.
I come bearing gifts. So
I'm a conquistador.
there you go. So without further ado, I turn the tables over to you, sir, and take us home.
Another excellent episode, sir. Loved you opening up about all the topics. It's the more of a Tony centric episode. I kind of thought of all these things as I'm out there doing my mailman thing, and I said, I got some questions for Tony, man. He's doing his thing, and I got to get the answers. So I appreciate you, like I said, opening it up. Hopefully, by the time this comes out, by the end of the week, Sixers are doing their thing and can maybe make it to the next round. Doubt it, but you know what? I'm keeping hope. I have the faith.
Fingers
But
crossed.
you know, with that being said, 2 months left before we get to the national. Really excited about that. Shout out to all the members of the Wolf Pack. You guys know who you are. We love you. We love everybody out there. Make sure you check us out Thursday night, 9:30. It's when it goes down, kicking it with the cousins. And as always, keep focused, keep positive, and keep collecting. Hey, yo, Tone, bring the beat back.